What's up, guys? I ran into another question someone asked that I thought would be a good thing to address just for everybody. So today we're going to talk about hooking up a boost gauge and the difference between hooking up a boost gauge in a supercharged car versus a turbo car. So first here we're going to use my Supercharged 99 GTP as the first example. Now, the thing that's important to remember here is where the air is being compressed, because a boost gauge needs to be where it can see vacuum and boost, and depending on where you're getting boost from, that's going to make a difference as to where you can tap in to see that. Case in point, the Supercharger. You'll notice this has got a lot of vacuum hoses. We got some here, we got some here, all this. So can you use any of these for your boost gauge? No. The reason why, all of the compressing of air is going on right here in this part of the Supercharger. So everything before that, everything on this side is air coming in. It will never see more than 0. It cannot build boost because the supercharger is over here. So on a supercharger, on a roots blower type setup, you need vacuum from the lower intake manifold, which is where the actual pressure is being built. So on, for example, one of these, what we would use is something like these vacuum lines right here, because they get their feed from down here at the lower intake manifold. So you can use those, but you cannot use anything on that side. So now this is specific to roots blowers, but that's why roots blowers you have to get vacuum from there. Now I don't have a turbo car, but let me show you an NA car and we're going to talk about what you can do with turbos. Here's an NA 3800, which is going to be our stand-in for turbo cars, since I do not have access to a turbo car right now. But let's use our imagination for a minute and pretend there's a big turbo sitting over here, because that's where it would be. It would be external. It wouldn't be sitting here in the middle like a roots blower. So this applies really to turbos and centrifugal superchargers, because they're both external. They both sit over here by themselves, and they're both going to be pumping air into the engine. Now, because of that, the compressor sitting outside, sitting over here, this whole intake track is going to be charged. So it's all going to be able to see positive and negative pressure. Because of that, you can tap in a boost gauge to basically any vacuum line on this setup, but you may not necessarily want to, because there are certain things you may not want to mess with, so to speak. Now, if you've got good vacuum from the lower intake manifold, then you can use it just like you would in a roots blower, no problem. But at the same time, like on this car, you could look at, say, this vacuum tee back here. You could pull vacuum from it. Now, if you run into a one-way valve like this, you don't want to use this line, because that will trap pressure there. You will not get an accurate reading of what is in the manifold right now, which is what you want. So you may also not want to run anything that attaches to something like a fuel pressure regulator or the map sensor necessarily, because you don't want to vary the amount of vacuum that that device sees. Preferably, if you can do it, you want a vacuum source like, example again on this one, like this vacuum line, which simply goes to the HVAC system inside. But you could use that, you could use the other side of this. There's a lot of different things you could use, but the important thing is where you tee in needs to be after the compressor. So if you've got a turbo sitting out here and it's pressurizing the entire intake manifold, it's pretty much fair game. Any of these vacuum lines where you can tee in for the gauge will work. So that is pretty much it. That's the basics on where you can and cannot tee into those, and the difference between looking at a turbo or centrifugal supercharged car versus a roots blower. Other than that, I don't have a better example because I haven't turboed anything yet in my particular fleet. I did used to have a turbo 240SX. If anyone has seen any of my really old videos, there's like a tribute video to it and a couple autocross videos left. But maybe it may be time to turbo something else. We'll see how things go though. As you guys know, I stay pretty busy and a little strapped for cash, so we'll see what happens, but let's just say that could potentially be in the future for one of these cars. I'm gonna let you guys go though. Drop me a like if this was helpful at all. Drop me a comment with any other questions that you might have, and make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.